All right, we're continuing our work on Teach Me How to Factor on factoring quadratics. Today we're going to focus on problems that have a GCF and deal with those. Thank you very much. So let's go to work. First, here's our information from yesterday. Okay, there's nothing new here. Those are all the same notes. So I'm not going to necessarily copy them down or anything like that. I just kind of wanted to talk about it again for a second and talk about, factoring a quadratic is the process of manipulating a equation or a quadratic in standard form, manipulating it till we get it in intercept form, also known as factored form. Okay, and we do that because this allows us to see our solutions or our roots or our x-intercepts really quickly and easily. So over here on the red on the right side, that's one that's in factored form. I just want to refresh ourselves at first and say, hey, if you factored it and it looks like that, what are your zeros? -3. Oops, let me change my pen here. They are a -3 and a +5. Remember, we're asking ourselves, what can I put in for that x to make this set of parentheses equal to 0, right? Okay. So, and also remember that basically means that the x-intercepts are -3 and a +5. Well, if I had those x-intercepts, where's my vertex going to be, or my axis of symmetry? Right in the middle, so it'll be at 1 in this case. Now, how would I find out where my vertex actually is? I know it's on that axis of symmetry, but how would I find out where it actually is? I'd have to plug it in. I'd have to say f of 1 equals 1 plus 3 times 1 minus 5. Well, 1 plus 3 is 4. 1 minus 5 is a -4. 4 times a -4 is -16. So that thing would be way, way down here, right? And I could graph my parabola if I wanted to. We've already done all that, haven't we? But just wanted to make sure you're making the connection between why we're taking these quadratics and factoring them and turning them into intercept form or factored form. Okay? Good job. So the process. We did the process yesterday. Yesterday, we didn't have any GCF, and we had no leading coefficient. Now, in that case, we ended up by saying no. We did our split and signs, and then we did listed our factors of the constant. Still not going to deal with any that have a leading coefficient yet today, but we are going to have a GCF. So I want to show you how that works. Let's look at this first problem here. Now, just as a reminder, I can have this f of x over here, or I could have a y there, right? No difference, f of x or y. Mr. Byers, could I also put, instead of that y, could I put a 0 there? Certainly can. What if there was like the number 4 there? Would that be okay? It would become a problem. I would have to deal with that 4. I would have to move that 4 over before I can start factoring or anything. And we're not going to have anything like that today. They're going to look like f of x or y or something. I just want to remind you, we've been focusing on the one side, but we're still dealing with equations here. Okay, so let's look at this quadratic. And my first question to you is, does this quadratic have a GCF? Yes. What can come out of it? A 2. So 2x squared divided by 2 would be x squared, right? Negative 22x divided by 2 would be negative 11x. And then 20 divided by 2 would be 10. Now, I'm going to leave this 2 on the outside. I'm going to let that thing sit there. But I'm going to focus now on the quadratic on the inside. Just looking on the inside, does that have a leading coefficient? No. So I'm going to split and signs, just like we did yesterday. Put a variable in each. My signs are going to be the same. They're both going to be negative in this case. Now I list the factors of my constant, which is 10. So 1 times 10, 2 times 5. That's it, right? Which of those come together with the same sign to get me an 11? 1 and 10. So we've added a step by taking out a GCF, but once we got that greatest common factor out, as long as we don't have a leading coefficient on the inside, it's still the same thing. Yes? Let's try another one. Can anybody find our GCF? 5. So y equals 5. I can pull that 5 out. All right. 5x squared divided by 5. X squared. 15x divided by 5 is 3x. Negative 350 divided by 5 is negative 70. Cool? Now looking on the inside, just focusing on that quadratic. Everything on the outside is going to stay, but this on the inside I can factor. There's no leading coefficient, so I would split in signs. Put an x in each. Signs are opposite, so a plus and a minus. Factors of 70. 1 and 70, 2 and 35, 3 doesn't go in, 4 doesn't go in, 5 and 14, 6 doesn't go in, 7 and 10, 8 doesn't go in, 9 doesn't go in. So that's it, right? Which of those come together with opposite signs to get me a 3? 7 and 10. The larger number gets the sign from the middle, so the 10 is positive, and the 7 is with the negative. Can I get a woo, woo? Woo. You like? All right, let's try this one. I'm going to give you a minute to start this one on your own. Give it a whirl. It's okay to use a calculator if you don't know all the factors. Yeah, you can use your phone for a calculator. All right, what comes out? A 4, right? Okay, so 0 equals 4 times something. 4x squared divided by 4, x squared. 72x divided by 4. Now 4 goes in 18 times, so 18x. And then 324 divided by 4 is 81. All right, so far so good, right? Now focusing on the inside, everything on the outside just stays as it is. But on the inside, I can factor that. There's no leading coefficient, right? So I can split in signs, put an x in each. Signs are same, both negative. Factors of 81, 1 and 81. No even numbers go in because it's odd. So 3 goes in 27 times. 5 doesn't. 7 doesn't. 9 times 9. Which of those come together to give me an 18? 9 and 9. Cool? Every time once we get this list, we're looking at these to see which of those two come together to get us the middle number by adding or subtracting, just depending on whether our signs are the same or opposite. Okay? Let's try one more, and I'll let you go. Try one more, and I'll let you go. All right. What can I factor out? A 3. F of x equals 3 times something. Well, 3x squared divided by 3 is x squared. 6x divided by 3 is 2x. Negative 189 divided by 3 is negative 63. Okay? So f of x equals 3. On the inside, I can split in signs because there's no leading coefficient. So x in each. Signs are opposite, so a plus and a minus. Factors of 63. 1 and 63. No even numbers go in because it's odd, so we don't have to check 2. 3 goes in 21 times. 5 does not. 7 times 9. 8 does not. Don't have to check evens. So there are two numbers that come together to get me a 2. 7 and 9. The larger number gets the sign from the middle, so the 9 must be positive. 7 is then negative. How many people got it? Excellent. Excellent. Okay. That's what you're going to be doing on your practice sheets. Have a great day.